For the more eagle-eyed viewer, you may be aware of what this car is. If you don't know, it's a 1936 Chevrolet Mastertown Classic Sedan. Now, this car played a vital role in the Ford Chevrolet tussle of the 1930s. And in 1936, it was this car that put Chevrolet back to the top by being the #1 seller. Now, this particular car had quite an interesting start to life. We're going to catch up with the owner, who's going to tell us why you might think twice about sitting in the passenger seat. So, we're sat in this 1936 Chevy. I'm here with the owner, Dave. Dave, thank you very much for showing us around today. Now, I'm sat in the passenger seat, and you told me earlier that this is probably not the best place to sit. Do you want to tell me a little bit about the story of this car?
Well, yes, in 1936 a certain gentleman bought the car in Chicago, and he had a very varied and interesting life, and he'd upset somebody very shortly after purchasing the vehicle. At the time, obviously, the car was a left-hand drive, and you're now sitting in the position that he was shot in. Right. Killed right out dead.
Right, so I'm sat right now where somebody was shot dead.
Yeah, shot dead. So they called in the police, ambulance, took him away, took the car into a compound so it could be forensically tested and looked at to see if they could ascertain who the naughty person was that shot him. And then after a period of time, the family were notified that they could come and get the car, but they didn't want to because dear old relation was brown bread in it, gone, finished. So it was left in a complete police compound for a number of years, where the mice and rats got in and ate all the interior, I suppose because the flavour was quite good.
Yeah, if you put it like that, I suppose. So how did you come to get the car?
Well,
X amount of years in a police compound.
It was set up in auction and sold in America. The gentleman that bought the car in 2010 into England purchased it from this other guy. He put a ZZ4 engine and a 460 electronic gearbox in the car, but in its old condition. Yep. Shipped the car over so that it'd have the proper paperwork for the engine and the body. Yep. And spent 3.5 years roughly completely rebuilding the car to a very, very high specification.
I can see that just what you're saying.
Yeah, it's in total now, in the last 4.5 years, it's only done 6,000 miles. And it's a beautiful car.
It's absolutely stunning. How many of these are there in the world?
We're not sure of how many in the world there'd be. I would have thought maybe now a couple of hundred left in the States. Yeah. In what condition? Varying from a tin can to a show quality car. I think maybe one at each end. As I understand it and looked into the car, this is the only one in the country that is a 1936 Mastertown Classic Sedan. Yes, well, and I can understand why they want you to change. He wanted to change it to right-hand drive because he didn't want to get blood all over his fingers.
Yeah, you did tell me that when I got in, did you? What's the plan going forward with it then?
Just to really enjoy it into my childhood.
Yeah, yes. I don't blame you.
It's a lovely car. It drives beautiful.
Can we hear it fired up?
Yes, we certainly can, and it's not for the shy to be driving it. You know, if you don't like being noticed, you don't drive this car.
Here we go then.
It's got certain features with it, which is really nice.
Take a virtual tour of this car and others at mysupercar.co.uk.